The first two seasons of The Rings of Power is like a game of chess. You get excited. Hey, I love chess. Your opponent says, hold your horses, pal. First, we have to set the pieces on the board. You take 8 episodes to set the pieces, and then you wait 2 years to play the game you got excited for. I hate when someone praises a series with the caveat of, the first season is rough, but once you get past that, it's great. I shouldn't be expected to sail through a season of garbage, then reward said garbage with more of my time. If you cannot successfully tell an entertaining and engaging story in the first season, you do not deserve me coming back for a second season. But there is a lot of stuff to set up in the story this series wants to tell. Some of the stuff I wasn't a fan of in season 1 makes more sense with season 2 to contextualize that. Don't get me wrong, I'm old school. I look at a season of a television show as one story, which should conclude most of its plot elements by season's end. If an entire season is just preamble to the actual story you're not going to tell us for 2 more years, you've got a problem. But overall, my thoughts on Season 1 are a little less harsh now that I see how some of this plays out in Season 2. My least favorite part of this season is my least favorite part from Season 1, The Wandering Wizard. While most of the stuff that dragged in Season 1 had quite a bit of forward momentum in Season 2, the Wizard storyline still feels the most unconnected with the rest of the subplots. None of the other characters in any of the other subplots know anything about the characters in the Wizard Harfoot subplot, and vice versa, almost. A few times, the Wizard will mention Sauron, but even by the end of this season, this subplot feels like it belongs in a different show, with how little bearing any of it has on the rest of the series. Spoilers for Season 2, you've been warned, this guy is Gandalf, which everyone knew in Season 1, Episode 1. I have no idea why they felt they needed to drag that reveal out for 2 full seasons. I have no idea why Gandalf had amnesia and has trouble controlling his powers. It feels like his story is supposed to begin in Season 3. In that case, why not just introduce him in Season 3? Why did you waste our time with him wandering around looking for a stick, trying to learn magic? When we first meet Gandalf in The Hobbit, I never once asked myself, this guy's cool, but I want to know where he got that stick. This season introduces another wizard. We don't know who he is, but he apparently didn't have any memory problems like Gandalf did. He knows Gandalf, says they've interacted before, which makes this amnesia subplot all the more confusing. This subplot ends with the Harfoot telling Gandalf they need to go their separate ways, which, if true, fantastic. While I was rewatching Season 1, I always skipped their scenes because of how unimportant they were. But don't tease me if you're just going to bring these worthless characters back in Season 3. My favorite part of this season is probably Antar and how he manipulates Celebrimbor. I was never sure how willing an accomplice Celebrimbor was to Sauron at this time, but I quite like how Antar is able to maneuver Celebrimbor. Just the right balance of sorceress manipulation as well as Antar telling half-truths like Satan of the Bible. Charlie Vickers plays Sauron perfectly. Sometimes I believe he's sorrowful for his betrayals, and other times you buy he's just ruthless and power-hungry. This season opens with a flashback at the dawn of the Second Age, when Adar kills Sauron, or tries to. I hated that scene because it didn't really tell us anything we didn't already know. Before this season came out, I was already speculating on how much Halbrand wanted to go back to being Sauron, and how much he wanted to run from that part of his life. I didn't really need any of that explicitly spelled out for us, especially taking up almost a fourth of an episode. But when you get to the end of the season, I kinda get why you showed us that visually, but I still think it was unnecessary. While there's still a lot of stuff going on in this season, it feels a lot more focused than Season 1 did. You can't play chess without setting up the pieces, I get that, but I still can't help but think they could have set the pieces up a little more efficiently, maybe got to some of this exciting story stuff a little sooner than what they did. I heard an awful lot of people bashing Season 1, and they were well within their rights to do so. First impressions are very important. While I came back to this season against my better judgment, there are likely many who didn't, after being disappointed with Season 1. I think there's a lesson to be learned here. Just because you spent $1 billion on this show, just because you have a recognizable property, if you blunder around for a season, you're not guaranteed to keep your audience. I just hope, with the things I liked in this season outweighing the things I didn't, that it's not too late for this series in the long run.